देखो 7-6 हो गई है।
हाँ कीजिए माता जी, ये सारे।
हाँ, क्योंकि फिर टाइम और जाएगा थोड़ा ना।
यस यस।
ऑलरेडी 7-6। थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा। धन्यवाद। प्रणाम टू ऑल डिवोटीज। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितनं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानं जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वप्नदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथावितां तं सजीवं सावधूतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने। श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी सहिता कृपा बध्ये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिद श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांत ध्वांत हारिणे। नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्रलंबर सांबोधे पादांबुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते। गौराविभाव भूमे त्वं निर्दिष्टा सज्जन प्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमस्तुते। चैतां सुरतो पंगोर मम मंदमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वापदां भोजो श्री राधा मदन मोहनो। दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमत रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमत राधा श्रील गोविंद देव श्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भि वंशीवट ततः स्थितः कर्षण वेणु स्वनिर्गोपी गोपीनाथा श्रीस्तु नमः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रभुपाद की जय हो। माता जी हरे कृष्ण दंड प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Second chapter starts with answering the question of Parikshit Maharaj. What should be done at the time of leaving the body? What should be the work of a person? Whom should he worship? Whom should he meditate upon? So answering that and emphasizing on the Karma Yoga. That means all the activities should be done, keeping Krishna in the center, emphasizing that 2, 3, and 4, those spoken in a negative way, that Graha Medis, they are not interested. So when it is spoken in a negative way, it's actually emphasizing the positive. Sometimes you say, oh, the parents who don't pay attention to the children becomes vagabond. So that emphasizes what? The parents who take care of the children, their children, they study nicely. Simple. One minute. Able to hear me? Able to hear? I lost my
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So Bade Prabhuji is physically attending here the class. He has given me. Okay. 5th verse. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrottavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavya Cheta Bhayam. You remember in the first canto, 2nd chapter, you have this verse. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan satvatam pati Shrottavya kirtitavyascha dhyaya pujascha nityada. Same thing has been. Tasmad bharata sarvatma bhagavan ishvaro harihi Shrottavya kirtitavyascha smartavyascha bhayam. Cheta bhayam. Tasmad bharata sarvas, O descendant of Bharat. Sarvatma Bhagavan Hari. Who is residing in everyone's heart? Who is the super soul of everyone, of each and every living entity? Even who is the super soul of the whole universe? At the level of universe, it is the Garbhodakshayi Vishnu who is the super soul. At the level of the living entities, at the level of the body of the living entities, it is Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. And also at the level of Jada Brahman, if you see, it is Kshirodakshayi Vishnu who is present everywhere. So he is not only the Paramatma in the bodies of everyone, his Lord is present in each and every atom and molecule. So that is how Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari, he is Bhagavan. He is Ati Bhaktivan because he has wonderful qualities. He is Ishvaraha, he is a controller, Hari. Hari means one who vanquishes others' misery. Hari means one who has stolen Radharani's heart. But here, you cannot take that Rasabhava. Hari meaning here refers to one who removes the miseries of others. That meaning only you can take. Radharani is heart stealing and all. When it comes to, when Hari is spoken in Krishna Karnamritam, where Rasatattva is spoken, there only that meaning you can take. So what one has to do, because he is Hari, he can vanquish the miseries of everyone. One has to hear about him, speak about him, and remember him. Cha ichhata abhayam. See, chechhata abhayam. Cha ichhata abhayam. Whoever desires freedom from fear, abhayam, one who wants to remain free. One who wants to remain free, abhayam, no fear, this complete freedom. And that person has to remember, has to speak, has to hear. These 3 things has to come. Okay? Aruna Machandri.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha स्मर्तव्यश्च चात् स्मर्तव्यश्चेच्छता bhayam. Purport by Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the previous verse, Sri Sukadeva Goswami had described how the foolish materially attached men are wasting their valuable time in the improvement of the material conditions of life by sleeping, indulging in sex life, developing economic conditions, and maintaining a band of relatives who are to be vanquished in the air of oblivion.
Band of relatives. What Prabhupada is writing this? Every word of Prabhupada is so wonderful. Prabhupada writes, maintaining band of relatives. What is the meaning of band of relatives? Where it is? Yeah. Maintaining a band of relatives who are to be vanquished. Nothing belongs to us, only Krishna belongs to us. Yeah.
Being engaged in all these materialistic activities, the living soul entangles himself in the cycle of the law of fruitive actions. This entails the chain of birth and death in the 84 lakh species of the life. The aquatics, the vegetables, the reptiles, the birds, the beasts, the uncivilized man, and then again the human form, which is the chance for getting out of the cycle of fruitive action. Therefore, if one desires freedom from this vicious circle, then one must cease to act as a karmi or enjoyer of the results of one's own work, good or bad. One should not do anything either good or bad on his own account, but must execute everything on behalf of the Supreme Lord, the ultimate proprietor of everything that be. This process of doing work is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27, also where instruction is given for working on Lord's account. Therefore, one should first of all hear about the Lord. When one has perfectly and scrutinizingly heard, one must glorify his acts and deeds, and thus it will become possible to remember constantly the transcendental nature of the Lord. Hearing about and glorifying the Lord are identical with the transcendental nature of the Lord, and by doing so, one will be always in the association of the Lord. This brings freedom from all sorts of fear. The Lord is a super soul, Paramatma, present in the hearts of all living beings, and thus by the above hearing and glorifying process, the Lord invites the association of all in his creation. This process of hearing about and glorifying the Lord is applicable for everyone, whoever he may be, and it will lead one to the ultimate success in everything in which one may be engaged by providence. There are many classes of human beings: the fruitive workers, the empiric philosophers, the mystic yogis, and ultimately the unalloyed devotees. For all of them, one and the same process is applicable for achieving the desired success. Everyone wants to be free from all kinds of fear, and everyone wants the fullest extent of happiness in life. The perfect process of achieving this here and now is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is uttered by such a great authority as Srila Sukadeva Goswami. By hearing about and glorifying the Lord, all a person's activities become molded into spiritual activities, and thus all conceptions of material miseries become completely vanquished. Hare Krishna.
So here very clearly it has been said, do not perform karma for success. Perform karma for bhakti. That is how one should become. Initially karma attachment is there, but more than that bhakti should be there. Karma Mishra Bhakti. Karma Mishra Bhakti means it should not be Bhakti Mishra Karma. Karma Mishrit Bhakti. In the why a person is performing karma, the intention is to attain bhakti. It is not Bhakti Mishrit Karma. The intention of bhakti, why is he doing the work? Because his whole attitude is to somehow get success in the work. That is why he is taking the help of bhakti. But he is now trying to perfect his karma. How? So that for him, bhakti is predominant. Simple. When we say karma mishrit bhakti, he is performing his activity, but his goal is to attain bhakti. not the success in the karma. When you say bhakti mishrit karma, his intention is to get success in the work. That is his intention. For him, karma is everything. So Lord is to be heard about by the person desiring fearlessness. Very clearly it has been said. So who is the subject here? Subject is Hari. You have a subject predicate. Subject is Hari. What is the predicate? Predicate includes noun, activities, verb, and all the activities. So he has to be heard. He has to be spoken. That way it is given. He has to be remembered. Now, Baldev Bhushan writes, 3 types of bhakti are there. Are indicated by the 3 modifiers, Sarvatmanaha, Bhagavan, Ishvaraha. Very wonderful it is. 3 words have been given about Lord. Sarvatma, then Bhagavan, and Ishvara. When we say Sarvatma, that refers to 3 types of bhakti with a desire for liberation. So Sarvatma means Paramatma. So one who is meditating on Paramatma, he wants liberation. Bhagavan, Raganuga Bhakti, and Ishvaraha, Vaidhi Bhakti. When we say Vaidhi Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti. Sarvatma is for yogis, Gyanis. So yogis and Gyanis, they want liberation. Understand very nicely. Bhagavan is only when a person wants to serve him, feed him, dress him, love him, Raganuga Bhakti. Oh, he is Ishvaraha, he is a controller, Vaidhi Bhakti. That is why you should have a fear for him. Early morning, one has to wake up, chant, all Vaidhi Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti has been given. So again now, the Lord who is Paramatma should be heard about by the person desiring liberation. He should hear about Sarvatma, so glories of Sarvatma. And then only he can attain Abhayam. Bhagavan, the beautiful son of Nanda, should be also heard if he has to be fixed up in devotion. Because wavering from devotion is also a fearful condition for a devotee. For a devotee, the most fearful condition is if he falls down from devotion. That is why he has to hear the glories of Bhagavan, the son of Nanda. Then Abhayam. Abhayam is not same for everyone. Understand it very nicely. For a yogi, the term of Abhayam is he wants to get liberated from this fearful condition. That is Abhayam. For a devotee, what is the Bhaya? Falling down from the devotion. So for that, what he has to do is to always hear so that he can be fixed up in devotional service. So for then, if he hears about Lord, he will always be in the service of Lord. That is the Abhayam position, fixed up in devotional service. And Abhayam for Ishvaraha here, with reference to Ishvara, Abhayam refers to the Lord because of one who has no fear. That means a person who has taken up Vaidhi Bhakti. So what are the characteristics of pure devotion? What are the characteristics of devotion? We have studied in Nectar of Devotion. Kleshagni Shubhada, Moksha Lakuta Kuta, Sudurlabha Sandrananda Visheshatma, Sri Krishna Akarshni Chasa. So at the first stage of Vaidhi Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, what is the first thing a person gets? Kleshagni Shubhada. All his kleshas go away. Shubhada, auspiciousness comes. So in the same way, when in the Vaidhi Bhakti, he understands, oh, Krishna is Ishvara, is the controller. That is how all his miseries go away. Okay. So 3 words here, Sarvatma, then there is Paramatma. Sarvatma means Paramatma. Then comes Bhagavan, then comes Ishvara. Sarvatma is for Gyanis and Yogis. They want to get rid of this material miseries. For Bhagavan, it is the Raganuga Bhaktas. These Raganuga Bhaktas, they always want service of Krishna because they know Krishna is a person. Ishvaraha, when you say Ishvaraha is the controller. So in the Vaidhi Bhakti, For him, the first thing is he becomes free from the misery. He has no fear. First thing, that abhayam, he becomes fearless. Oh, Lord is a controller. Lord will manage everything. So he becomes free from the fear. Okay. So the Lord who is a controller should be heard by the person who is controlled, who desires the Lord, who causes fearlessness. The Supreme Lord is heard about by the person who desires the Lord to deliver him. The two words cha after chanting and remembering indicate that after chanting, the two processes, chanting and remembering, should be done. So after hearing what should be done, one should chant also, one should remember also. Thus the question about what is to be heard, chanted, remembered has been answered. So it is Hari is the subject. Once you hear about Hari, you have to chant his name. Once you chant his name, you have to remember him. Okay, next. So any doubts here? No.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In Ishvara, what is the fear?
The fear
Bhagav-
itself, the fear itself is a fear. What is a fear? He wants to get rid of the fear. And what is that fear? Fear of entanglement. Why you are taking up sadhana? Because you have fear. What type of fear? Now you are not interested in liberation. You don't know what is liberation because you are not a jnani, you are not a yogi. You don't know even the highest, that is Raganuga Bhakta. Why you have taken up devotional service? Ordinary fear, miserable condition, kleshagni, shubhada, ordinary fear. We don't know what is this. See, a person who has come in the sadhana bhakti, we are all sadhakas. Do we know something about liberation? Do we know even something about Raganuga Bhaktas? We don't know. What we know is general fear. A general fear. The general fear is kleshas. And the klesha is adhyatmik klesha, adi bhautik klesha, adi daivik klesha. Simple fear. And this simple fear is caused by Tridanda of Durga. So a person takes up to devotional service. Ishvara, oh Lord, you are my controller. Four type of people come to Krishna. Artho, Jigyasu, Artharthi, Jnani, Chabarkashava. In the Jnani category, all Sarvatma, everything comes. Starting is what? Somebody wants money. Somebody wants freedom from the misery he's experiencing. So that is okay. Is it clear?
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। तो मगर इन दिस लाइफ टाइम हम रागानुगा भक्त बन सकते हैं आगे जाके?
हाँ, बस वैदिक भक्ति के दो स्तर है। एक स्तर है साधना भक्ति में वैदिक भक्ति, दूसरा है रागानुगा भक्ति। रागानुगा भक्ति ओनली व्हेन लॉर्ड गिव्स द कृपा थ्रू हिज रागात्मिका भक्तस। वो कृपा प्राप्त होगी तो मिल सकता है वो भाव, जैसे यशोदा का भाव आ सकता है, गोपियों का भाव, नंद बाबा का भाव, लेकिन फॉर दैट रागात्मिका भक्तस का अनुग्रह होना चाहिए। ये मत सोचिए मैं भक्ति वैभव 6 पार्ट भक्ति सर्वभौम सब करने का तो होल है। ऑल रिक्वायर्स मर्सी, सिंपल। और कोई कुछ नहीं करेगा फिर भी उसको प्राप्त हो सकता है। एतावान् सांख्य योगाभ्याम स्वधर्म परिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभ परं पुंसाम अन्ते नारायण स्मृति। What a beautiful verse. एतावान् सांख्य योगाभ्याम स्वधर्म परिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभ परं पुंसाम अन्ते नारायण स्मृति। इतना भी मिल गया तो बस है। अंत नारायण स्मृति ही फिर देखा जाएगा। जो भगवान को जैसे रखना है, धूली के जैसे रखना है, पीकॉक के जैसे रखना है, जैसे रखना, अंत नारायण स्मृति ही। एतावान सांख्य योगाभ्याम। सांख्य योगा, व्हाट इज सांख्य योगा? एनालिसिस ऑफ और अंडरस्टैंडिंग द डिफरेंस बिटवीन मैटर, स्पिरिट एंड गॉड। पंचभेदा, matter, jiva, matter, God, spirit, God. So Panchabheda, this is Sankhya, Yoga Abhyam, that is mystic power, knowledge of the mystic power, Yoga Abhyam, Swadharma, performing particular duty, Swadharma, that is Varnashrama Dharma, Parinishthaya. So he may do it with full perception. Janma Labha Paraha Pumsa. Janma Labha. So he may get the highest perfection of human life. अच्छा जन्म मिल सकता है लाभ. Paraha Pumsam. But a human, what is a perfection? What is a perfection is to remember Krishna at the end of the life. That's the highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic power, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty. What is the highest perfection? Is to remember Lord at the end of life. Anta Narayana Smriti. If a person is continuously remembering Krishna, then Varadaraj Perumal says he need not remember Lord at the time of leaving the body. Why? Krishna takes it a personal responsibility to make him remember or to take him back to God. Krishna has taken the personal responsibility of the devotees, because why devotees should remember Krishna at the end of life. Krishna devotees are always remembering Krishna. Like you go to Vrindavan and tell to Babaji, who is residing near the Radha Kund and chanting continuously, Maharaj, are you chanting 16 rounds? He'll look at you. What happened? I chant continuously. So the rules and regulations are only applicable for Vaidhi Bhakti, Asadhana Bhakti. For a person who never forgets Krishna, even in sleep, he never forgets Krishna. For that person, going and telling all the rules and regulations is a foolish person's work. You should not do that. In the same way, if you tell a devotee, are you remembering Krishna? Will you remember Krishna at the time of quitting the body? He says, every day I'm quitting the body. Every day the body is left now. Every day one day gone means one body is gone. So why you remember Krishna only at the end of time? So that is how it is said. But still, for a person who has got complete knowledge of matter and spirit, Jnanis have been spoken, Yogis have been spoken, Karmis have been spoken, Bhaktas have not been spoken. In these 3 verses, if you see 3, Jnani, Sankhya means Jnani, mystic power yogis, Swadharma Karmis. What will be the perfection of these 3 people? The perfection is, what you're doing all these things, Anta Narayana Smriti. At the end of quitting the body, you remember Krishna. For a Bhakta has not been spoken here. You see, Bhakta has not been spoken, because Bhaktas are always chanting the holy name of Krishna. So this verse is for 3 types of people. Okay? And they can get it how? Only when they come in association of devotees. So what is a perfection? Here, Baldev Vidyabhushan writes, the perfection is to get association of devotees. Then only they can chant. Anta Narayana Smriti, it's not so easy to remember Narayana, because whole lifetime he's remembering about money. He's remembering about his mystic siddhis. Whole time he's remembering about liberation. Where Narayana Smriti will come. So the perfection is to get association of devotees. If he gets that, Anta Narayana Smriti, then the life is successful. Jnanis, yogis, karmis. That is why they said, Bahulam Janmanamante Jnanvan Man Pattite Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Suturlabha. Okay. Raksha Mataji read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Shloka number 6. Etavana Sankhya Yogabhyam Sarvadharma Parinishthaya Janma Labha Paraha Pumstam Ante Narayana Smriti. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Narayana is the transcendental personality of Godhead beyond the material creation. Everything that is created, sustained, and at the end annihilated is within the compass of the Mahat Tattva. material principle, and is known as the material world. The existence of Narayana or the personality of Godhead is not within the jurisdiction of this Mahatattva, and as such, the name, form, attributes, etc. of Narayana are beyond the jurisdiction of the material world. By the speculation of empiric philosophy, which discerns matter from spirit, or by cultivation of mystic powers, which ultimately helps the performer to reach any planet of the universe or beyond the universe, or by discharge of religious duties, one can achieve the highest perfection provided one is able to reach the stage of Narayana Smriti or constant remembrance of the personality of Godhead. This is possible only by the association of pure devotee who can give a finishing touch to the transcendental activities of all jnanis, yogis, or karmis in terms of prescribed duties defined in the scriptures. There are many historical instances of the achievement of spiritual perfection, such as that of the Saunakadi Rishi or the nine celebrated Yogendras who attained perfection only after being situated in the devotional service of the Lord. None of the devotees of the Lord even deviated from the path of devotional service by taking to other method of adopted by the Gyanis or Yogis. Everyone is anxious to achieve the highest perfection of his particular activity, and it is indicated here in that such perfection in Narayana Smriti, for which everyone must endeavor his best. In other words, life should be molded in such a manner that one is able to progressively remember the personality of Godhead in every step of life. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhanwad Pranam.
So you know a verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yahasya Harer Dasya Karmana Manasa Gira Nikhilashapi Avastasu Jivan Prasvichati. A person who is always engaged in chanting, in reading, in chanting, in glorifying, in hearing, and remembering, that person is the perfect transcendentalist. About the perfect transcendentalist, it has been given that he is above the rules and regulations. All there is about the rules and regulations. No rules and regulations apply for him. Prayena muniyo rajan nivritta vidhi chedataha nirgunyastha ramante sma gunanu kathane hare. प्रायेण मुनयो राजन् निवृत्ता विधिषेधतः निर्गुण्यस्थारमन्ते स्म गुणानु कथने हरे. प्रायेण मुनयो, प्रायेण means प्रायः, mainly प्रायः, मुनयः, the sages who nivruttaha vidhi is beyond regulatory principles. Shedataha is beyond the regulatory principles. Shedataha, that means he is beyond even the restrictions also. Nairgunyasthaha, he is transcendentally situated. Ramante sma guno anukathane, he takes pleasure in describing the activities of Krishna. Hari means Lord himself. His only task is glorifying Lord. He takes pleasure in that, and is above regulatory principles and restrictions. That means the rules of Varnashrama doesn't apply to him. Like in the rules of Varnashrama, it is said a sannyasi should not cross the ocean. Sannyasi should not light the fire. Prabhupada did exactly the opposite. Anything which comes as an impediment in Krishna consciousness, that rules and regulations doesn't apply for him. That is why he is beyond. Nobody expects from him also anything. So Krishna gives such a wonderful thing that nobody expects from him. And, or one is indebted to the family members. One has to do some opcharikta. No opcharikta. If you are engaged in glorifying Krishna, you don't come in the bondage. Nobody expects from you anything. There will be a marriage ceremony in the family. There will be something, other celebrations. Nobody will expect you to come. If you're completely engaged in Krishna consciousness, nobody expects from you anything. If he wants to do, he will do. If he doesn't want to do, he will not do. Very clearly in Bhagavad Gita also, we have studied this. He is beyond attachment, beyond aversion. Happens, happens, doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Opcharikta is only for middle-minded people. Like now, Bade Prabhuji was telling to me, your sister's son has come. Are you going to go? I said, I don't have to do that. Nobody expects from me also anything. But my sister has to do so many opchariktas. She went to Nagpur. She has to go and visit. No opcharikta. So, no opcharikta comes to a person who is completely engaged in hearing and chanting. Nobody expects, nobody becomes morose also. Nobody feels sad also because that person is dead in the society. Simple. A Krishna conscious person is dead in the society. Nobody wants him. Nobody doesn't want him also. Does not want him, wants him. Nothing like that. So that is why this opcharikta does not come to a person who is completely surrendered to his Guru Gauranga. Because he is dead in the social life, he is alive in the spiritual life. So always remember, even if you don't go to a relative, it is good because I used to go to relative, I used to say, I wanted to get rid of all the relatives. I asked Kamarashan Prabhuji what I should do. He said, go and say, Ram Nam Satya Hai. Say any function, I used to say. So they don't want me only. They said. And nowadays, if they call me, I say, okay, wonderful, you keep Bhagavatam class, I'll come. Nobody wants that also. So nobody calls. From Dur se Ashirvad, though nobody is angry also. Opcharikta only comes to those persons who are in this material life. Okay, they want some names, they want. You don't want any name, you do, you do. You don't want to do, don't do. That is why this verse is very important. Where it is said very clearly, a person who is beyond the regulatory principles and restrictions, they take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord. Whole day should go for that only. You get an opportunity, go on describing about the Lord. That is only the work. That should only be the work. There should not be any other work. Okay. Kankanga Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Prayena Muni Rajan.
A lot of disturbance there.
I am in temple, Mataji. Outside some class is going.
Wait. Venkatesh Prabhu, you read. Why like this? Wait. What is this type of sound? You also mute yourself. Mute. Ravindra Sachiputra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, text number 7. Prayena Munu Yo Rajan, Nivrita Vidisi, Nivrita Vidisi, Kedataha, Nairgunyasta, Bhagavante Swa, Gunano Pathane Hare. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ji. The topmost transcendentalist is a liberated soul and is therefore not within the purview of the regulative principle. A neophyte who is intended to be promoted to the spiritual plane is guided by the spiritual master under regulative principle. He may be compared to a patient who is treated by various restrictions under medical jurisdiction. Generally, liberated souls also take pleasure in describing the transcendental activity. As mentioned above, since Narayana Hari, the personality of Godhead is beyond the material creation, his form and attributes are not material. The topmost transcendentalists of the liberated souls realize it by advanced experience of transcendental knowledge, and therefore they take pleasure in the discussion of the transcendental qualities of Lord's pastime. Bhagavad Gita 4.9, the personality of Godhead declares that his appearance and activities are all divya or transcendental. The common man who is under the spell of material anointing takes it for granted that the Lord is like God of life, and therefore he refuses to accept the transcendental nature of Lord's form, name, etc. The topmost transcendentalist is not interested in anything material, and his taking interest in the matter of Lord's activities is a definite proof that the Lord is not like one of us in the material world. In the Vedic literatures also it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is one, but that he is engaged in his transcendental pastime in the company of his unalloyed devotee, and that simultaneously is also present as the super soul, an expansion of Bhakti in the heart of all living entities. Therefore, the highest perfection of transcendental realization is to take pleasure in hearing and describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord and not in merging into this impersonal Brahman existence, for which the impersonalist monist aspires. Real transcendental pleasure is realized in the glorification of the transcendental Lord and not in the feeling of being included in his impersonal nature. But there are also others who are not the topmost transcendentalists, but are in a lower status and who do not take pleasure in describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Rather, they discuss such activities of the Lord formally with the aim of merging into his existence. Hare Krishna.
So, but there are also others who are not the topmost transcendentalists but are in a lower status and who do not take pleasure in describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Rather, they discuss such activities of the Lord formally, with the aim of merging into his existence. There are so many Bhagavad Kathas happening. They are all formal Bhagavad Kathas. There is no love and all. Gyanis also do Bhagavad Katha. They want to merge in the Brahman. Idam Bhagavatam nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Adhitavan Dvaparadau Pitur Daivapaya Dvaipayanadam Idam Bhagavatam nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Adhitavan Dvaparadahu Pitur Dvaipayanadaham. Idam, this Bhagavatam, Nama Puranam. Puranam are the Vedic supplements to make us understand the Upanishad. The simplified explanation is there in the Puranas. That is why Puranas are known as Vedic supplements. Brahma Samhitam is approved as essence of the Vedas. Bhagavatam is considered as essence of Vedas. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam shukamukha amritadrava samhitam pivata bhagatam rasamalayam murorasika bhuvibhavika rasa samhitam. So this is actually approved in the, is the essence of the Vedas. Brahma Samhitam. Adhitavan Dwapar Adav. At the end of the Dwapar Yuga, I studied this from my father. Dvaipayanada. Dvaipayana Vyasadeva. Aham, myself. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named Srimad Bhagavatam, which is equal to all the Vedas from my father, Srila Dvaipayana Vyasadeva. So that is how he was actually realized, he was having Brahman realization and he left the house. But then Chatur Shloki Bhagavata, he was very much fixed on Brahman, impersonal aspect of Lord. So here it is said, the mind of Sukadeva became attracted to the pastimes of Lord just by hearing one verse. Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. Oh, Stanakala Kutam, Bakiyam, that is, Putana has come. But still Krishna has given the position of mother. Just by hearing this greatness of Krishna, the mercy of Krishna, he became attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. So he says, I am the proof. Just by hearing, I became attracted. I was Brahmavadi. Brahmavadi means one who is attracted to the Brahman aspect of Lord. But I became attracted to hearing the pastimes of Lord. So this is the most rarest thing. And he tells to Parikshit Maharaj, you should also hear this. The more one hears about the pastimes of Krishna, the person becomes attracted. Because in the next verse is going to come that how Sukadeva Goswami was fixed in the Brahman, it became attracted. But in this verse it is said, yes, Bhagavatam is the Samhitam. It is the essence of all the Vedas. So it is said here, why this astonishing work has not been heard before. This explained here. Bhagavatam means what is spoken by the Lord. Idam Bhagavatam, this work which is what is about the Lord, Idam Bhagavatam, this is filled with the pastimes of the Lord. It is revealed through the question and answer session between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. And what it contains realization of Atma. There's a discussion about creation, maintenance, destruction. So it is a cream of all the Upanishad. And it is eternally perfect. And it appeared from where? Vyasadeva. So it is equal to Lord. So somebody can ask, how did you get it? He taught me. He taught me. So it is said, the meaning of the scripture is impossible to learn by dint of one's own intelligence. It has to be taught. Since Vyasa appeared in Satyavati. Yes, Vyasa appeared to Satyavati, isn't it? And he appeared just before Krishna's appearance. So Dwapara means at the end of Dwapara Yuga, at the beginning of the last part of Dwapara Yuga. The time only Vyasadeva appeared. Not before the appearance of Krishna. He could not appear at the beginning of Dwapara Yuga. He appeared at the end of Dwapara Yuga. That is how this Bhagavatam, this which is spoken by Vyasadeva, it was not existing before. It existed only after Vyasadeva spoke about the pastimes of Krishna. And how it came to Sukadeva Goswami, it is the essence of the Vedas. It comes through Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is literally incarnation of Krishna himself. Krishna writes about his own pastime. That is why after the Dwapara Yuga, Bhagavatam evolved. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, Bhagavatam evolved. So before that, what was there? That time also scriptures were there. But this Bhagavatam, Idam, this Bhagavatam evolved at the end of Dwapara Yuga. Okay. Gandhi Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम इदं भागवतं नाम प्राणं ब्रह्म संहितं हितवान् द्वापरदौ पूर्वद्वैपायनादहम्.
The voice is cracking. Wait. Mute. Sanjay Prabhu, read. So much of disturbance. Voice, mic is not proper.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam.
Yeah.
Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Aditvan Dvaparadau Piturdvepayanad Aham. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named Srimad Bhagavatam, which is equal to all the Vedas from my father Srila Dvepayana Vyasdev. The statement made by Srila Sukadeva Goswami that the topmost transcendentalist, who is beyond the jurisdiction of regulations and restrictions, mainly takes to the task of hearing about and glorifying the personality of Godhead, is verified by his personal example. Sukadeva Goswami, being a recognized soul and topmost transcendentalist, was accepted by all of the 7 days of the Maharaj Parikshit. He cites from the example of his life that he himself was attracted by the transcendental activities of the Lord, and he studied Srimad Bhagavatam from his great father, Sri Devapayana Vyasdev. Srimad Bhagavatam, or for that matter, any other scientific literature, cannot be studied at home by one's own intellectual capacity. Medical books of anatomy or physiology are available in the market, but no one can become a qualified medical practitioner simply by reading such books at home. One has to be admitted to the medical college and study the books under the guidance of learned professors. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, the postgraduate study of the science of Godhead, can only be learned by studying it at the feet of a realized soul like Srila Vyasdev. Although Sukdev Goswami was a liberated soul from the very day of his birth, he still had to take lessons of Srimad Bhagavatam from his great father, Vyasdev, who compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam under the instruction of another great soul, Sri Narada Muni. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed a learned Brahmin to study Srimad Bhagavatam from a personal Bhagavat. Srimad Bhagavatam is based on the transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, entourage, and variegatedness of the Supreme Person, and it is spoken by the incarnation of the personality of Godhead, Srila Vyasdev. Pastimes of the Lord are executed in cooperation with his pure devotees, and consequently, historical incidences are mentioned in this great literature because they are related to Krishna. It is called Brahma Samhitam because it is the sound representative of Lord Krishna, like the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the sound incarnation of the Lord because it is spoken by the Supreme Lord. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound representative of the Lord because it was spoken by the incarnation of Lord about the activities of the Lord. As stated in the beginning of this book, it is the essence of the Vedic desire tree and the natural commentation on the Brahma Sutras, the topmost philosophical thesis on the subject matter of Brahman. Vyasadev appeared at the end of Dwapar Yuga as the son of Satyavati, and therefore the word Dwapar Adau, or the beginning of Dwapar Yuga, in this context means just prior to the beginning of the Kali Yuga. The logic of this statement, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, is comparable to that of calling the upper portion of the tree the beginning. The root of the tree is the beginning of the tree, but in common knowledge, the upper portion of the tree is first seen. In that way, the end of the tree is accepted as its beginning. Hare Krishna.
So end of the Dwapar Yuga, that means beginning of the Kali Yuga. From there only Bhagavatam started. So what we are reading now, this is been given by Vyasadeva to Sukadeva Goswami. It just evolved 5,000 years before. Okay. Any questions? We'll stop here. Every time we'll take only 4 verses. Try to memorize all the 4 verses.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। माता जी, ये लास्ट पैराग्राफ समझ में नहीं आया। शिला जीव गोस्वामी इज कंपेरेबल टू दैट ऑफ कॉलिंग द अपर पोर्शन वाला। माता जी,
ट्री का
एकदम सिंपल हिंदी में।
अपर पोर्शन का है। ट्री का अगर आप ट्री देखते हैं तो टॉप अपर है कि नीचे का अपर है? रूट से ही ट्री आया है कि ऊपर से नीचे आया है? नीचे से ऊपर गया है,
रूट से आया है।
हाँ, तो रूट को ही अपर पोर्शन। उसी तरह से एंड ऑफ द्वापर युग भले ही बोले, लेकिन वही तो बेसिस है। पूरे पास्ट टाइम को ग्लोरीफाई किया है। भले ही भागवतम एंड ऑफ द्वापर युग आया है, लेकिन रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ लॉर्ड, साउंड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव इस भागवतम। उन्होंने पूरे भागवतम यानी पूरे भगवान की लीला को उसमें समा दिया है। वो एंड नहीं है, वही बिगिनिंग है। ऐसा लग रहा है नीचे का भाग है, लेकिन वो नीचे का भाग नहीं है, वही ऊपर का भाग। पूरे ऊपर के भागों को समा लेता है। ये द्वापर युग से चालू होता है कृष्ण लीला, लेकिन वो पूरा समा गया कहाँ? ब्रह्म संहितम। संहितम यानी पूरी तरह से समा गया है।
ओके माता जी,
स्टॉप हियर। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे राम। I hope this speed is okay. 4 verses.
Perfect, Mataji. Perfect.
Hari bol. You want me to
माता
take?
जी एक रिक्वेस्ट है माता जी। माता जी श्लोका प्लीज, श्लोका हमें बता दीजिए ना, तो हम लोग स्टार्ट कर सके।
श्लोका
लिस्ट ऑफ द श्लोका। हाँ पूरा।
अभी पूरा बैठ करो। 4 ही वर्सेस है ना, पूरा बैठ करो।
ओके माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
बताऊंगी। हरे कृष्ण।
ओके माता जी।